Hey turkeys, this is Dan from the Gen-Xers, and as you know, I'm a huge Norm Macdonald fan. In fact, I've been making videos about why Norm Macdonald is the GOAT long before it became fashionable to do so. Well, maybe not long before, but before. Anyway, I've been itching to get back to a Norm Macdonald video for a long time, but I knew that when I did, I wanted it to be somewhat unique, trying to do something a little different at least. So today we're going to look at 3 times Norm Macdonald was actually being sincere. Now you longtime Norm fans know that those moments can sometimes be hard to decipher. He was a genius, his comedy worked on many levels, and sometimes it's hard to tell if it was sincerity or knife-edged commentary meant to be taken as sincerity and later probably meant to make us laugh when we thought about it.
See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House.
That said, I've got 3 times when I think Norm was actually being sincere. If you disagree, or have other times when you think he was being sincere, let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and please hit like and subscribe. Number 3, A Childhood Epiphany. Although this countdown is in no particular order, I wanted to talk about this moment first because I think it shaped Norm's comedy as well as his outlook on life. This is the story of a young Norm Macdonald and an old blind man. The story goes that Norm's dad asked him to escort a family friend, an older guy who happened to be blind, to the store. On the way, the old guy asked Norm to start describing everything to him exactly as is. Although it felt a little odd to Norm, who was a very shy kid.
When I was very young, I was very shy.
He did it, and the ultimate result was it had a profound, lifelong effect on him.
But it was a moment I had that was, it wasn't religious or epinaphic or anything, but it transformed me to some degree.
Norm only told this story a few times, most notably to Mark Maron and later to Jerry Seinfeld. Each time it had a slightly different ending. In one, Norm said it led to a realization that everything was funny.
Something happened to me where I was actually, instead of always looking inward, which I think I'd always done before that one time, I was looking outward. Anyways, while I was talking to him, I suddenly had a sort of a hysteria, like I was laughing. I started laughing and stuff, and everything seemed like very funny to me.
In another, he said it led to a realization that life is how we see it, and not how we experience it, and all these thoughts that we've got going on and jumbled up in our minds.
And so all of a sudden, I saw things as they were. And then I began to realize that life is what is, not what you think it is.
While the endings do seem different, they really aren't. In both versions, the experience led Norm to an epiphany about perception and reality. The insight he had is reminiscent of stories about profound spiritual awakenings. I'm not talking full-blown Buddha realization or anything like that, but just those moments where individuals come to understand deeper truths about existence. When you think about it, the idea of seeing everything how it is outside of your own subjective experience is profound, and Norm was lucky to have it at such an early age. I think it's a big part of the reason he was able to see various angles and perspectives on complex topics in both his comedy and in interviews. Folks talk a lot about how unique of a voice and perspective Norm had, and I feel like this experience had a lot to do with it. 2. There are many moments out there where Norm expresses, I think sincerely, his love for his family, his mother, his brother, his son. To me, those seem self-evident. But Norm's deep affection for his friends, well, that's evident in scant few public moments. Usually it went something like this.
I didn't see it coming.
Dude, I know you didn't. He brought it all around and then a vicious rib kick into his best friend's gut.
There are, however, a few exceptions. Everyone remembers Norm's tribute to Dave at the end of his final stand-up. In fact, the final stand-up set ever on Letterman.
If something is true, it is not sentimental, and I say in truth, I love you.
Less folks seem to remember the moment that came at the 2008 Comedy Central roast of Norm's good friend Bob Saget. Many people remember Norm's bit at this roast as either the worst moment in Comedy Central history, or, as I consider it, the best. The other contender, the only other contender I can think of, is Gilbert Gottfried's roast of Joan Rivers.
A guy walks into a bar,
Joan Rivers is the bartender.
Anyway, instead of delivering the typical harsh jokes, Norm chose to honor his friend with intentionally corny, old-fashioned humor, even reading from one of those old joke books from probably the 50s or 40s.
Now, but Bob has a beautiful face like a flower. Yeah, cauliflower.
Like I said, many people remember this routine, but fewer people talk about the ending where he expressed his heartfelt love and admiration for Bob Saget.
Bob, honestly, has never had an unkind word for anybody, and I love him, and I hope everybody else does.
If they do remember, it's been discussed a lot less than the thank you to Letterman. But to me, it's just as classy, sincere, and 100% Norm as that moment. It choked me up a bit at the time to see Norm be so serious, and it chokes me up now, especially after both of these fine gentlemen are gone. Number 1, a complicated faith. Unlike a lot of celebrities, Norm wasn't afraid to admit to being a Christian. And unlike a lot of Christians, he wasn't afraid to admit that there was a lot he still didn't understand, that he still had moments of doubt, and that he wasn't 100% sure what he believed all the time.
I'm a Christian. It's not stylish to say now.
Like his relationship with everything, Norm's relationship with faith was both complex and introspective. In a 2017 tweet, he wrote, "Scripture, faith, grace, Christ, glory of God. Smart man says nothing is a miracle. I say everything is." To me, this statement is a direct reflection of the impact his walk with that old blind man early in his life had. Later, in an interview with Larry King, Norm discussed the nature of faith, saying, "What people don't understand about faith is that you have to choose it. And in the end, it seems to me that is exactly what he chose. And I believe that sincerely." Alright, so some of you might be wondering why I didn't mention Norm's 2018 appearance on The View, where he apologized for remarks he made about the Me Too movement, among other things, remarks that many deemed inappropriate. The reason for that is I don't think he was being sincere in that moment. In fact, I think it's one of his funniest and most subversive moments. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. And if enough people like this video, I'll make another video exploring it.